Since 1995, White Radish has been bringing stories to life with animation, embracing new technology sometimes years before major studios. Their animation has never been made from paint on plastic or shot on film. Over the years, they've gone from scanned paper and ink drawings colored in Photoshop to scanned sketches inked and painted on computer using an art tablet, to all-digital vector art. And with each advancement also comes more experience and better skill. Where did it all begin?
We started White Radish because we had stories to tell, and we realized that we could use animation to tell those stories. Before, it was all comics, and I'm not very good at doing comics, but turns out I enjoy doing animation a lot more.
I joined White Radish in 1994. I was taking some Japanese courses at the local community college when one of the students next to me noticed some anime-style sketches in my notebook. He had heard that White Radish was looking for some animators and that they were a local company, so he suggested I try out. And I first entered White Radish. I was an assistant animator, and eventually they said, hey, we need someone to do the music. And I said, I can write music. I don't think they believe me. They gave me a tape, like they auditioned me for the music. They gave me the opening animation to, I think the TV series was Enemy is the Pirate, or the OAV, whichever it is, and said, here, write some music to this. So me and my partner got together. We wrote some music to that, and eventually we became the lead songwriters for White Radish.
Louie's been with us since the beginning. We hadn't even done our premiere animation yet. We'd just done a demo, but he came in and we tried him out on various things, and he settled on the music and sound effects, and he's been with us ever since.
How I first got involved with White Radish. When I was younger, I was really interested in animation at the time. I stumbled across a community with a lot of artists who were doing comic design and all working together. And I asked them if they knew anyone who was doing animation, and they pointed me towards Shawn. I sent Shawn some of my work. He had me join the team, and I started out with some minimal animation work with Apprentice. And then Shawn approached me and he said, I have a character, JD. She seems to be a lot like your personality. Why don't you try voicing her? So I sent over some voice clips, and Shawn loved them.
Really doing voices for anything is, I try to get as much into character as you can, but when you're behind the microphone and you don't have the other people with you, it's really hard because you can't completely plunge yourself into the character. I'm initially impressed with any group that, manages to do this magnitude of thing on their own.
I discovered White Radish online. They were looking for artists to help them out with a new project, Apprentice. Now, my animation skills were limited at best at this time. I'd done some Super 8 movies as a kid with a home camera, little paper cutouts, that kind of thing. Did some background art for the film instead, colored by hand, pencils, that kind of thing. Put some time into doing a castle, which Shawn ended up integrating into the film with computer graphics. So they have this wonderful panning shot that comes zooming into the castle. I think it just looks great. He added water effects and things like that behind it, clouds and everything. It looks wonderful. I also did some smaller objects, things that are sitting on the tables. You can see some scrolls and maps and stuff like that. I was just thrilled to have my artwork included in the film at all, to be honest with you.
White Radish founders Jerry Cheadle and Shawn the Touch got together in 1994 to break into the animation world using the humblest of equipment. With a few books of animation as instruction manuals, buying some animation supplies, and building others, they went to work first on a demo tape and then on a full 5-minute-long animation to show at a convention.
We got our start doing the opening animation for Anime Expo 95. We were using some very primitive tools at the time, very old computers, 386, and I don't know what the Macintosh was, but it was an old one. I saw the progress bar a lot.
I remember the opening ceremonies for Anime Expo 95. The room that they held it in was packed. It was a full house, and Jerry and Shawn and I were sitting right in the middle. And I remember when it played, we were very, very nervous. We didn't know how people were going to take it. And for the most part, if I remember right, it was really quiet. And I was thinking, oh no, I'm glad no one knows who I am. And then at the end, was basically a standing ovation, people getting up and cheering and yelling. It was a nice feeling. It kept me interested in the work, and I enjoy doing it.
So to lead off with these ceremonies, we'd like to proudly present our opening animation, courtesy of White Radish. We get the last down.
From there, other animation and other conventions followed.
Last year, y'all remember the opening animation piece that was done for us?
Yeah!
You remember the little trailer afterwards called The Item?
Yeah!
Well, this year they've completed it and we have The Item.
Conventions were the main venue for White Radish, as well as a constant presence on the web since 1996. Over the years, the number of conventions increased, as well as the quality of the animation.
Me, got that? I love working there. It's so much fun. You know what the best part about it is? Okay, well, I better get back to work now.
Don't miss it. It's gonna be really ace.
Bye!
Audience reaction is always fun. I like sitting in the crowd and hearing what people have to say. When Pink Lemonade was debuted, I think it was ASEN, watching people's reactions to that sort of offset having to hear myself on these big speakers.
I attended my first anime convention at ASEN in '99 with Shawn to help sell some White Radish promotional stuff, DVDs, or maybe it was video cassettes at the time. In any case, Shawn would periodically go off away from the artist booth and do his own stuff, and a lot of fanboys kept coming over and being like, "Oh, so you're an artist? What do you do?" and kind of hitting on me. And one customer actually approached me and said he would buy all of the merchandise if I would give him a kiss. Well, needless to say, I was a little apprehensive, and he just bought the stuff anyhow. That's about the most exciting thing that's happened to me, dealing with White Radish at a convention.
Shawn demonstrated the methods of cell painting on computer to audiences at many cons starting from around this time.
We were still inking on paper, and we devised this method to separate the red lines. Well, we developed a method to draw red lines on the paper to delineate where the shadows would go. And when we scanned those in color, we could separate them and then paint them that way. Later, I also figured out how to use blue lines to show where the highlights should go. That made the characters look a lot slicker.
And throughout all this, their techniques and methods continued to evolve and grow as they embraced new technologies and mastered the old ones.
Finally, I bought a Wacom tablet, which I'd been wanting for a long time, and it took me a little while to get used to it and to figure out exactly how to best use it. But when I did, it really showed me that I didn't need to use paper anymore. And, well, I used paper to sketch the rough art, but after that I'd take it into the computer and ink it and paint it on the computer.
The type of equipment we use in terms of sound, SoundForge is a must for editing your sounds. Different sequencing programs, MIDI sequencing programs. If you're scoring music for video, Acid, especially the latest releases of Acid, is real good for that. Adobe Photoshop is one of the main things used for coloring and other things, and Adobe Premiere, Adobe After Effects, 3D programs like Lightwave. Those are mainly used for animation.
At least that's the way it was until Flash came along.
It started out in Photoshop, and in Flash now, it's so much easier. Well, everything's so much easier in Flash. Very basic stuff. I mean, just get the cells in, point and click.
The first White Radish animation that used Flash was the evil at Tentacle High.
That was sort of a last-minute thing. The evil at Tentacle High was, it was sort of spun on me at the last minute, but considering there were next to no lines, I just remember getting all these cells of these, very bizarre sort of, kawaii hentai things put together. And, at first I was kind of disturbed by it, I'll admit. Because, how often do you see this kind of thing done that cute? Of course, I should have expected from White Radish. I wish I could have been there to see the final product, to see the initial reaction, because when you see these girls in action, it was hilarious.
And the second one was Cute Thulu, which really showed how much better the animation could become.
Oh, I had a lot of fun doing this project. It was the first Flash animation that I've ever done a voice for, and incidentally, it was also the first Flash animation I've seen of Shawn's work that was longer than a few seconds. So it was a really big treat for me, because I'm practicing Flash myself. And I'd have to say my most favorite part was doing a giggle. Those are always pretty exciting for me. I especially liked the graveyard scene. That's my favorite.
It's a lot of fun doing this type of work. If you want to get into this type of thing and do animation, one thing to remember is that it's a lot of work and it takes a lot of time, especially if you don't have a lot of money and a lot of people to help you out. One of the things I've seen through the past couple of years is that people get very excited. Yeah, I want to do this animation. I want to be a part of this. And once they see how much work it really is, they work for a month and then they disappear. I've seen it many times, so just keep that in mind.
They were a lot of work to produce, but it was very rewarding to see the finished product. And every time I do one, I learn new things that help with the next one.
Something that continues to impress me about White Radish is the fact that Shawn really knows what he's doing, and he makes concise decisions as far as technical skill, artistic skill, production skill. I'm always impressed with the amount of research he has done. We've had a lot of great in-depth conversations discussing what are some old techniques, what are some great old animation masters.
Work continues on more animation all the time, and there's no end in sight.
Overall, it's been a lot of fun, and it'll be even more fun in the future with all the advances in technology and animation tools.
With the home computer and all of the available software to normal, everyday computer users, the work that's coming out of dedicated individuals who are spending the time doing what they're passionate about actually surpasses the work that's coming out of some professionals in both fields. And I think that you should do something because you enjoy it, and not because it's a chore, and not because you can think you can make easy money off of it. Half of the fun of animation and voice acting is because it's an outlet of expression. If you do want to go professional with any sort of art, the best thing to do is to just get connected with others who are freelancing and feed off of their experiences, their knowledge, and start building a base for your own work and your own competency in the field. And one more thing, don't ever give up on your dreams. It doesn't matter how old you are, where you are, and where you want to go. As long as you have persistence and determination, you'll get there.
I look forward to seeing where things go from here because there's a lot more where this came from.